North Avenue to Tech would drive. O'Leary to Key. It's WreckTalk.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome to WreckTalk. It feels like it's been a while. And that's because it has. Haven't been in the usual setup in a while, but here we are. We're done with one season. We're rebuilding, taking things off the wall. Time marches forward. We can't look back. We have to change. We have to adapt. We're going to talk about the 2025 schedule release today. I've got several other videos I need to get out. And look, I hope all you guys are doing great. Before we get into the video, you've heard me talk about these guys, After Swarm. They're doing great things, and I wanted to just give you a little sneak peek. They now have a paid forum, so you can go be a part of some really cool stuff. I also subscribed, I don't know why I can't say that, to their Substack, and all of that money goes to the Georgia Tech NIL. They don't make a dime off of it, so if you want to be a part of a really great community with tech people, diehard tech people, all the money goes to Georgia Tech. Go check them out. You're not going to get better information out there, and I stand behind that. Now, I have seen the schedule. I don't really remember it. Like, I've glanced at it, so this is going to kind of be a raw reaction for me getting into the schedule or previewing the schedule. And man, it seems like we've had some pretty tough schedules in the past. From what I remember, it's not as hard as those, but let's just get into it. I've got things covered up one at a time. One at a time. Game one. No surprise. We knew this was happening. We will open up at Colorado. Now, this is a game I do plan to be at. I was born in Colorado. Haven't been there, I don't know, since I was 2. You'd have to ask Papa Wreck. Papa Wreck, put in the comments, when did we leave Fort Carson there? This is going to be, first of all, the week 1 of the 2025 season has some fantastic games. This is going to be, I'm sure, a well-watched game as well. And I have a feeling Georgia Tech will probably travel fairly well to this. It'll be a good, game 1 thing, like a little mini vacation you can take. Lord knows Tech fans can't afford it. And assuming Deion's still there, which he's sniffing up the ass crack of every NFL team that he thinks might draft his son. But assuming Deion's still there, should be a great game. They drafted, or not drafted. He's so in bed with the NFL right now. I'm saying drafted. They recruited Juju Lewis out of Carrollton. I don't know if he'll start day 1. I'm not super familiar with their roster, and neither is anyone else that claims to be a Colorado fan. All they know about Colorado is Shedeur, Shiloh, Deion, Travis Hunter, maybe the Horn wide receiver. But it should be a good game. Tech will be 100% healthy, obviously, in game 1. Well, you can't even say that. You could have preseason injuries. But again, we might even plan a thing like we did to North Carolina. It'll be a little bit harder to swing. Maybe we can get a group of people going over there. Maybe we can fly together, room in the same hotel room. Leave some comments below if you would be interested in that, and we'll definitely do it. But definitely a game I'm excited about, not a game I'm afraid of. I've let my pretty strong opinions be known on what I think of Deion Sanders in Colorado. I think they'll be, at best, a shell of themselves now that Shedeur is leaving, Shiloh's leaving. Basically, anyone who is worth anything is going to the NFL. I'm not really doing a season prediction video in this. This is a season reveal, but I would probably pick Tech to win on the road here. Let's look at game 2. Non-con game, Garner-Webb. Not much to say here, though. You can ask friend of the channel, Joe Gilbert. Garner-Webb gave Paul Johnson and bunch quite a scare, years and years ago. I mean, what year would that have been? 2007 even, maybe? Or 2008, 2009? Paul wasn't here in 07. Came down to the wire, but be a game that Tech should handle easily. Again, not much to talk about with Garner Webb. Third game of the season, open up conference play with Clemson. And that's going to be a tough one. Now, I think all the gold ones, all the gold games are home games. So we get Clemson at home. It's going to be, a really awesome, electrifying environment at Bobby Dodd hosting Clemson, rival. We didn't get to play them last year. But unfortunately, when was the last time we even beat Clemson? We can't beat Clemson to save our lives. Now, dumbass Collins about did it, which is quite an indictment on their program, at least for that year. But not a game I would be picking us to win right now. I know Clemson's down from where they have been in the past, but Dabo is doing things different than he has. He's, transfer portal, leaning harder into NIL. He sees the gap between him and the rest of college football widening, and now he's forsaking all vows that he made, said he would quit college football and all that to get a little bit more competitive. All right, going into game 4. And I wrote the bye weeks down too, just they're not super clear on here. Temple. Now, this is an interesting game. I was talking to C-Dog about this game. This is a little bit of a grudge match for me. I don't know about you. Number one, it's where dumbass Collins coached before he came to Georgia Tech. We also played Temple. Do you know how many points when Jeff Collins was the coach at Georgia Tech we scored against Temple? 2. We scored 2 points against Temple. Hopefully we can score more than 2 points against Temple this year. That's our second non-con game we probably should win. But kind of a tricky 4-game stretch. If you know me, I like to kind of break the season into 4-game chunks. This is definitely one you can't afford to go less than 500 in. And probably you want to be at least 3-1 here. Dropping to either Colorado or Clemson, most likely Clemson. But the hell with Temple and the hell with Jeff Collins. I hate both of them. And screw Philadelphia. Then we get our second road game and second conference game in Wake Forest on the 27th of September. Wake Forest is really down. I guess they've hired a new coach now. I know Dave Clawson stepped down. I don't expect much from Wake, coming into 2025. They're basically going to be in a total rebuild. They're going to have a new offense, new defense, new head coach, new program in general. Not a game I'm super worried about. And as far as road games so far, Colorado will be a tough one. Wake shouldn't be that tough of a road game, though. You can never really overlook Wake. Then we come back home and play Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech, not a team that I'm scared of. If you didn't know, someone posted a 247 internal forums post where someone was like, hear me out. Virginia Tech should hire Jeff Collins. And I should have subscribed just so I could post, yes, I'm a Georgia Tech insider, even though I'm not a Georgia Tech insider, but I'm a Georgia Tech insider. And yeah, man, you should definitely hire this guy. They didn't end up hiring him though. I was talking with Papa Rec, even I think it was today. That's one game on our schedule I really feel like not necessarily that we should have won, but that we should have won, right? Weren't able to get many points together. I'm not at all afraid of Virginia Tech. Let's see, how many games is this in? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So halfway through the season here, I expect you should probably be able to beat Virginia Tech, Wake, Temple, and then go 1-1 against Clemson and them. So, Tech could come out of here 5-1, but that's assuming you beat everyone you should. And we don't really know anything about what these teams are going to look like as of now, right? All right. Then we get our second road game, Duke. Duke is just a team that we have not struggled with at all. Even last year, Duke had the best year they've had in a long time. And we handled them. We handled them probably as well as anyone, minus Ole Miss. But let's be honest, we played a completely different team than Ole Miss did. Their 2 starting quarterbacks were gone. So look, thus far in the schedule, 3 road games, not that bad. Again, Colorado probably kind of tough, but I don't have any problem going to Durham. All right. 8th game of the season. Oh, by the way, we get a bye on the 4th of October. Yeah, so we go on the road to Wake. We get a bye. Then we come home to play Virginia Tech. Go on the road, Duke. Come back home and play Syracuse. Now, I have no idea what to expect from Syracuse next year. I think prevailing sentiment would have to tell you that they're going to take a step back. I think Fran Brown is silly. That's another video I have to do. If you didn't know, in fact, let's just do it right here. Syracuse hired Ricky Brumfeld as their special teams coordinator. And I get Syracuse fans thinking, man, Georgia Tech special teams looked awesome against us. We're hiring their special teams coordinator. That makes all the sense in the world. However, in every other game where Ricky Brumfeld was a special teams coordinator for Georgia Tech, he was awful. I saw someone post the stats for him. They're like 100 or worse in every special team stat. This guy was awful. It rivaled Jeff Collins' special teams. And setting aside the fact that he was basically fired, right? I mean, that's the conclusion I would have to draw. He left under spurious circumstances. He's, stepped down. So not only does he have horrible on the field stuff going on because he can't coach special teams, but he's got nonsense going on off the field as well. The only thing, the only reason I think that they hired him is for recruiting. I do think he's a pretty decent recruiter. And definitely Syracuse could use that. That's a game I don't know what to think about. I'm glad we have it at home. It's going to be a grudge match. That's another game, man, I wish we could have had back. Wish we could have played a little better defense in that one. But again, I don't know really what to expect from Syracuse. All right, then we go on the road and play NC State on the 1st. Now, we are going to get a bye after this. So our byes seem to stack up pretty well. I also don't know what to expect from NC State. I do think they're going to be better this year. That quarterback I saw play us before we played Georgia last year, in my opinion, was a real deal. He's young. He's a little turnover prone, but he's got a ton of talent. That's going to be a tough road game. Probably if I'm looking at what road game we drop here, even considering Colorado, I'd probably pick NC State. I didn't think much of them last year. Everyone thought about, they're always a dark horse to win the ACC, but I do think this will be a tough road game. I do think NC State will be a much better team this year. All right, so we'll get a bye, and then we'll stay on the road, come home for our bye, stay on the road, go to Boston College. Boston College is a team that's much better under Bill O'Brien. They get rid of Casanelos. They bench him for having 2,015 turnovers. And he said, well, joke's on you, morons, because you can't bench me if I just hit the portal midseason. And they played better without Castellanos, Castawoo, whatever his name is. They played better with him. I expect they're going to be better this year, too. I think a lot of Tech fans probably look at this NC State, Boston College, back-to-back road games with a bye in between and think, we should probably win those easily. I'm not in that camp. I think those are going to be two much better teams this year. And Boston College is a tough team. They're always a tough team. It's going to be a tough physical game. I think it's going to be a tough game for Georgia Tech. We know what the last game of the schedule is, so let's see who we're going to play before Georgia. Pitt. Now, Pitt started off 7-0 and then lost every other game on their schedule. I don't know much about what Pitt has coming back. I do like that we come back home before we play Georgia, but it's not like Pitt is necessarily a tune-up game. It's not like we're playing who does Georgia? What juggernaut does Georgia play before they play us? That's right. They play, let me get this off. They play Charlotte. People, my dad works in Athens, and there's knuckle-dragging inbred Georgia morons, and they are, and you are the absolute worst piss takers, piss drinkers, whatever you guys are. They're telling him, Oh yeah, y'all ain't gonna get that 8-day break playing on a Thursday now. It's over now. That like they played UMass last year before us, and they play Charlotte this year before us, which is basically a bye game. I don't know a bigger baby bitch fan base than these absolute rejects to the human race. But yeah, I don't want to, I definitely rather play Charlotte than Pitt. So if you know, you know. And then obviously we play Georgia. Now this game's going to be at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Don't like it. It was a financial decision, and it is what it is. It's what we had to do to move forward, to get more money injected in the program, to up recruiting, etc. And I'm sure I will be there. I'll go to the Benz. Luckily, there's a lot to get into downtown Atlanta, so a lot of them might just get arrested before the game, so I don't have to listen to their inane barking, which for some reason they find appropriate to do in public. It's kind of akin to like if you just greeted people by farting in their face. Like that's kind of what Georgia fans do, and like they're proud of it. And both of them stink about equally, to be honest with you. So that's the 2025 schedule. Kind of looking over it here, your road games are Colorado, Wake Forest, Duke, NC State, Boston College. So you got 5 road games, 3, 4, 5, 6 home games. And then I guess technically the Georgia is another home game. So your road schedule, not awful. Like there's no road games on here that I say, man, it's not like you're going to Death Valley or something, going to Clemson, even going to Blacksburg, right? That would be a really tough game to me. I don't see any like insurmountable road games. Colorado is probably your toughest road game. But again, keep in mind, you don't know how good these teams are going to be now. I think most Tech fans, like I'm hearing Tech fans looking at the schedule, definitely 9-3 or something. So, let's say you lose to Georgia again, you lose to Clemson, and then they're saying you lose one other one. I'm just not, I'd probably go 8-4 again. I'm not putting a prediction on it. Because Syracuse might make it take a big step back, and then North NC State does what they do or something. It's a tougher road game. It's definitely one of the easier schedules I've seen. It's probably the easiest schedule I've seen us have in the last 5 to 7 years or so. It's definitely something to be excited about. It's definitely a schedule where your bye weeks, coming after Wake and after Syracuse. November 8th, or after NC State, you get a bye week that splits a 2-game road stretch that sets up nicely for you. I'm excited. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. What do you think of the schedule? How do you think it stacks up? Do you have an early 2020, way too early season prediction? Would you be interested going to have a road trip to Colorado together? And as always, like I said, check out After Swarm. All that money goes directly to Georgia Tech NIL. So if you subscribe to After Swarm, you're helping recruit. In fact, if you subscribe to After Swarm, you have my permission to call yourself a Georgia Tech recruiter. Y'all have a good one.